It is the Loft 100 Studios. The show is the Big Biz Show. Coming live from sunny Southern California. I got my CPAP apparatus on, breathing freely, feeling good, looking good. Costa River, Godwin, Greg Todorov, and Sully.
Mike, is that sort of what happened to you in the middle of the night?
1,000%. Every single friggin' night. And and to boot, you wake up and you got these strap marks on your face that look like you've been wearing a
That makes you look thinner, though.
A little bit.
Because you look swollen now.
Yeah.
You know.
I got stung by a bunch of bees right before the show.
Can I ask you this? Did the lovely, did she ever complain about the noise? Or did she complain about you stopping breathing in the middle of the night? Was there any concern, or was it just a noise?
Me stopping breathing really didn't concern her. It was more that her sleep was being interrupted, the snoring, and please, can you just go to the guest room?
Were you tired all the time?
Exhausted.
Are you now tired all the time?
Yeah, I still am because I'm not using my CPAP machine. Right. I have a bite guard at night, which is equally sexy. But then I'm going through the processes right now. I have a sleep test coming up, and then once I get my sleep test done.
Okay, okay, good. So I want to talk, because we're going to do a series here, because Mike is taking it seriously and going through Vivos to your dentist that Kirk recommended.
Super great.
And so what has happened so far? Have you had any pictures taken? Have they taken
massive? We went in for about almost 2 hours, and every camera they have available, they X-ray your mouth. Or it's 3D. It's
like an MRI type thing.
Yeah, almost like no.
In fact, there's Mike right here.
Yeah.
This is a digital.
My skull's a lot more pointed, unfortunately. So you go through all these tests.
Painless and.
Oh my God, so easy.
Yeah.
You go in, you kick back in the chair, beautiful music playing.
Fall asleep and start snoring?
Yeah. I was almost going to start snoring during the dentist visit. But again, it's very hands-on for them, but for you, it's effortless.
Are you feeling hopeful, honestly? Do you feel better? Because you weren't thinking about it before.
As soon as he held up that little oral device, and I was like, light goes on, game changer.
Yeah, gotta do it. Well, speaking of dentists, Dr. Bahar Esmaili is here. She is the dentist of record here for Vivo. She's the vice president of clinical integration, right? What does that mean? What do you do? What are you doing? What do you do here?
Well, all I do, that's why I have my little friend here, is solving this puzzle and trying to get this in order so that people can breathe.
So is it a skull problem? Is it a physiological problem?
It's all of it. It's all of it. Like, I'm hearing people talking about the stock market and the state of economy, and they got to the root of it, and they're talking about the global markets and the stock this and Feds that. We know what we see on the grocery store and the gas is not the issue. We know something higher up. But when it comes to our health, we never ask a question like that. We think that snoring is the issue. But let me tell you what. There are feds involved in the healthcare, and there are things involved in your body that governs it. Your brain is the feds behind everything that happens. And if your brain decides...
Your brain is your Federal Reserve Bank.
That's right. Did you know that? Your brain decided to be here to seek the help you need, and your brain decides how you breathe.
So what I want to ask you is, why is it important that we not breathe through our mouth and breathe through our nose? What does that matter?
Well, first of all, that's our design, to get our tongue to the roof of the mouth. And that's why I have my skull in here, because you think about it.
Hey, that's my mandible.
You can have that.
Don't you love Bruce Horsley's Mandible Rain?
You can have that one.
You can play the mandible.
That's right, to play mandible. Here's the roof of your mouth. Yeah. That is the floor of your nose. That's the same real estate.
Boy.
I'm sorry.
That's interesting.
That's how we were built.
One man's ceiling is the other man's floor.
Exactly.
To the nose.
So if your mouth is contorted and narrow, it will make your nose non-functional. So which means.
But wouldn't you sound funny when you talk and stuff like that, or is it sometimes?
It does.
Okay.
A lot of people that just sound nasal, they cannot breathe out. Right. It's because their system can't get the air in and get it out properly. So what I did understand, I've been a dentist for 15 years, and for 4 years I have not been touched a drill because the focus in dentistry and the mode of operation is that the teeth are independent of the system. But you hold the mandible. You hold it.
Okay. I feel like I'm in trouble.
You're in trouble. There is no connection between all the different structures with that. Do you want to attach this here? You're not a dentist, but go ahead and attach that over here.
Attach it.
Yeah. Yeah, it won't hold.
Look at that.
Oh, there we go. Where are the magnets on the teeth?
Oh, I see.
That's what's screwing us up. Okay. Because what happens is, these pearly whites are not there the day we were born, are they? No, they become a part of this as we grow. Fun fact. What happens at 11 years old? The kids get canines. What happens at 7 years old? They get molars. What happens at 6 months old? They get front 2 teeth. And they start rolling, walking, crawling, standing. Do you think that's by coincidence? No. That's how we develop. So when the body is out of contortion and is twisted and the skull is like Kirk was talking about in the womb and during delivery process, this entire system is crooked. This system is like the family that's already there before the kids come in. The teeth come in and the system is now locked. And you know what airway is? This is reality. What is airway?
Airway?
Yeah, what is it?
Like my airway? I'm assuming it's my esophagus. It's my.
It's a hollow tube.
Yeah,
It's a hollow tube, Mike.
Right. Thank
It's
you.
a hollow tube.
Like the one you're holding.
Yeah.
And like
Just
the hollow space in your soul.
This is a hologram of a hollow tube inside of you.
Yeah.
What is a hollow space? It's nothing but its borders. What are the borders of the airway? Your tongue, your jaw,
Okay.
your skull, your neck.
Can I ask you
your
something?
diaphragm.
You mentioned birth and stuff. Is this a genetic disease or is this just
It is more of an epigenetic that is enforced on kids as they're getting molded to humans inside the womb and as they come through the birth canal to become human and come to this world. And the fact is these skull bones have to shape into a little telescope and then poof, with the first breath, to go breathing in and out. We go from amphibian in the womb to becoming a human with air in our lungs. The process, unfortunately, caused a lot of disruption. So from the first breath, instead of breathing completely, I have this little doohickey here. That's how they do it.
Oh, I see. Okay, I have a question for you. Because I know from talking to you before the show, you have treated some very famous people.
Yeah.
One of which is Shaquille O'Neal. And we have some photographs that I want to take to you because Shaq had a crooked face. And you wouldn't
And a crooked body.
And you wouldn't have known it.
No.
And a lot of people have a crooked face that you don't know about because the mouth impacts everything.
Yep.
Jared, our Emmy Award-winning director, is going to bring up some pictures. So you can see there a before and after to the right, but you see where he started here, and look at the photographs, top and bottom, and right and left, how his face has changed. Obviously, he's lost some weight there, but explain sort of what the journey he went through.
You know, the first thing I looked at Shaq when he stood up, 7 foot tall. If you've never felt like a tiny human being stand next to Shaquille
Me and Mike
O'Neal,
have never felt it. Thanks for bringing that up. One more freaking day, I would have been over
I'm
it.
7 feet
Suck it
wide.
in here.
when Shaq says, I love small chicks, I'm like, Shaq, define that, because
like
everybody
small
compared to you is a small.
Exactly.
But fact is, when you look at a 7 foot tall, if you cannot notice that he is completely shifted to one side, like his body is just completely relying on one side to propel through space and play for 7 teams. And that's really what was telling you is missing, is that they treat his airway as a machine to keep pumping air to keep that tube open. All the while, this tube cannot stay open on its own.
Okay, very quickly. I want to go through, show some more photos here because the photos are not just of airway photos, but his physiological change.
Yeah.
As it's kind of, so pick up another one, Jared, where we can see sort of a before and after, or even kind of. So here is he starts up by losing 55 pounds. Take to the next one because there's some kind of clinical programs here. There he is.
Whoa.
Now look at the ones that have the shape next to it. So look how he's leaning to the right here,
Yep.
like you talked about.
Yep.
Our left, Mike. Okay. And then look at that. That's amazing. Now, do you think this is the result, or do you know this is the result?
Oh, I know this is the result.
Talk to us about it.
Now, here's the thing. I was trying to really make this simple, is a drone picture. When we're talking about an airway, another fun question. What's the difference between a live and a dead person?
I'm doing the interview here, lady.
Oh,
Live person, dead person.
live and a dead person.
They're
what's
not
the
breathing.
difference? Well, one of them can exhale and the other one cannot exhale.
Okay.
You want to stay alive, keep on inhaling. If you do not exhale, you're dead, right?
Okay.
So the fact of the matter is, for you to stay open, that hollow space in the middle of your body, which is called your airway, needs to stay open against outside pressure.
Right.
And when you cannot use one side of your body, the chance of that collapsing is a lot higher. When we're standing up and able to compensate to keep that airway open, that's one thing. But when we go to this position, what Kirk was talking about, everything is set for us not to be able to take the same compensation to keep that tube open, which is why we constantly suffocate. All we had to do is just a couple of tweaks in the skull and the position of how the teeth lock him in to help him keep that airway open without effort, which is what we do differently.
Okay, so Kirk, how does it work then? Talk about so how did we get to there?
So what you just saw there with Shaquille is everybody.
No kidding.
Right? We're designed to be symmetrical, but we're not. And so what we do is we identify, as we diagnose sleep apnea, we identify some of the physiological asymmetries. And it can be in your pelvis, it can be your hips, it can be the way you stand, and all those things contribute to closing off the airway at some point. So believe it or not, the the oral appliance that we have is key to this whole thing because it's really the end point, and we're governing the end point. It's the highest leverage point in the whole system. So when we are able to control the end point of the airway, we actually have the ability to really affect the whole airway up and down. Now, we may need adjunctive type treatment, like with certain kinds of chiropractic, if the hips are off or if there's some other kink. You saw how those triangles, how they were all.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
They're all akimbo.
Well, yeah, what we want ideally is to have that symmetry, right? We want those triangles to be really straight and up and down. So that's the key thing. And what we do is we use this little oral appliance device, which seems
Looks like a retainer.
it looks like a retainer,
Like
but
the old retainer, not even this
Yeah.
one, but the old retainer you had when you were a little kid.
it's got some really cool technology built into it, and then the protocols of how it's used and when it's used make all the difference in the world.
And this appliance, when used properly,
Yeah.
will affect the physiological changes that you're describing.
Well, this is like this. I mean, this is what it does right there, right?
His name, of course, is Kirk Huntsman. Of course, Dr. Bahal is smiling with us. We got more because who do we have coming up? We have a cardiologist coming up next, a
We have
neurologist
a
coming up?
neurologist,
Neurologist
pediatric
coming up.
neurologist, and then a cardiologist. Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Then start asking them, lady. Let's go. You got the experts.
You ready?
I've been
Vivos.
writing them down as you've
All
been
right.
talking. I'm just like,
They are publicly traded on the stock symbol VVOS. You can go to vivoscare.com. More Big Biz coming up.
Beautimous.